What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video where today we're about to rank every single one of the Jurassic Park movies and review the new Jurassic World Rebirth. Let's get it.
Area of entertainment.
All right, let's get into it. So first, I want to look at IGN's list of their top ranked Jurassic World / Park movies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read them off, and you kind of say if you would rank it lower or higher.
Okay.
And then at the end of this ranked, we're going to give our ranked, and then we'll get into Jurassic Rebirth. All right, so number 6. So on their list, they don't have Jurassic World Rebirth on it, so it can be.
I think it's like because it's like the newest one.
Yeah.
You know,
so they did their top 6 because there is 6 Jurassic movies.
Yeah.
So number 6 on their list, they got Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah. I was about to say like I would agree because Jurassic World Dominion was kind of like it was just like I wouldn't say it was dumb, but it was kind of like it was just all over the place, full of like random stuff that was just like weird. Especially with like the cicadas and how like there was like a food shortage happening.
Well, yeah, it was kind of weird because like the movie pretty much was all the dinosaurs got released and they kind of joined the ecosystem, so they lived with humans, which was a cool concept, but I don't think they executed it well.
I think that's the only like cool thing that they did was that scene where Chris Pratt, like spoilers for it, but Chris Pratt is like riding his motorcycle and the raptors are chasing him throughout like that town and stuff.
Right.
That was cool because it was like, oh, we're seeing dinosaurs, like, you know, like him getting chased by dinosaurs in like, you know, a populated area and stuff. So I thought it was cool and stuff. But everything else was just kind of dumb, like the whole plot with like the clone girl. That was kind of like, and then how like technically she's not the daughter, she's just like, you know, a clone. Like it was just weird because like in Fallen Kingdom where it's said to like technically the doctor like, you know, made a clone of this girl from like his daughter, but actually no, because technically she had like a mom and stuff, and like it was like a whole thing. But yeah, it was just like kind of.
I think that being 6 on the list, I think it fits pretty good.
Yeah.
So they got number 5, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. How you feel about that? That's the sequel to Jurassic World. That's number 2 in the Jurassic World. That's where they're selling dinosaurs to the rich people in the end. So pretty much the island got destroyed.
Yeah.
And then they took all the dinosaurs out. It's been a while since we watched these movies, but I kind of remember them.
I think maybe I would agree.
Being number 5, you think?
I think so because again, it's the whole plot with the clone and how like all that. Yeah. It's like no one wants to see like nobody cares. Everyone cares about the dinosaurs.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, like I thought it was. I like how like in the beginning, it's like the whole island's getting destroyed. Yeah. And like how like the
They're
dinosaurs
trying to rescue
and stuff.
all the dinosaurs.
But then after that, it's the whole plot of like, oh, this guy's trying to sell dinosaurs to these like people. And then they have like the whole thing again with like the DNA merging with like the like I think
the
it's
hybrids.
Like the hybrids with the raptor and stuff. That was kind of like, you know, again.
I mean, it was the weakest. I think. I mean, concept wise, it was the weakest because the island was getting destroyed and they had to rescue the dinosaurs. But the plot kind of fell off from there. They didn't. I feel that they didn't know where they were going with the story, and they kind of got confused.
Yeah.
So, I'd put it... I mean, honestly, I'd put this one at 6.
Yeah.
Because I think Dominion had more of a crazier plot with all the dinosaurs living with the humans.
True. But like,
so,
I still think Dominion is at bottom because I just don't like the whole thing with like, because here's the thing like
with the clones.
No, not just the clone, but also it's kind of like the cicadas thing because it's like in that movie it's like a whole thing of like, oh, the cicadas are killing the crops and because they have a virus. But it's like this is not a movie about bugs. This is a movie about like dinosaurs and like that. And I get the cicadas are like prehistoric giant bugs, but still though it doesn't make no sense. At least Fallen Kingdom was like kind of like, you know, dinosaur mainly. And also there was a sad scene where like there was the dinosaur that got left on the island.
Right, yeah, he was running and
technically that was like the first dinosaur that we saw on screen in the first Jurassic Park, which was
that's what they said.
That's what they said, which is kind of crazy.
It's kind of messed up, so he left them. All right, so they put number 4 on their list is Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, I think so too.
Where they introduced the Spino.
Yeah, I think.
So I mean, honestly, I think it's a little too low.
But realistically though, it's like out of all three of the classic Jurassic Parks, that is the lowest one.
I mean,
out
the
of all
Jurassic
of them,
Parks, yes.
out of all of them.
I don't really like Dominion like that. Dominion, I mean, not Dominion. Lost World, where the T-Rex, they bring the T-Rex with the baby, and
I mean,
that's not my favorite. I mean, I'd put 3 over that one, but IGN got it at 4. So
it's like, wait, like is in 3 where like it's like the raptors like talking.
Yeah.
See, like that's probably why.
Well, it was a dream.
Yeah, but still, it's a raptor talking.
It's a dream. So all right, so they got number 3. They got Jurassic World at number 3.
Jurassic.
The first movie that came out in the
that should
trilogy.
be like at least like 2.
I think it's 2.
I think it should have been 2 because I feel like that was kind of like the requel in the sense of like
it was pretty good.
It's technically it's a sequel to like the original, but it's remaking it to where like we're showing the actual Jurassic Park that like they like said that they were gonna make, and we get introduced to like Chris Pratt, and he's like a raptor trainer, just that whole thing. And I think that just like the whole thing of like them like. That was the first movie too that like introduced like the hybrid where it's like they're merging DNA and stuff, and I thought that was cool. And like the whole fight scene at the end where it's like the hybrid versus the T-Rex, and just like cool. The park is going to ruin. But
so I mean I think it should be a little higher. Sorry, number 2 they got Lost World, which is part 2 in Jurassic Park.
I think that should have been like Jurassic World and Lost World should have been switched. So Lost World should have been 3. But
we'll give our list like after I finish this list.
True.
So and then they got number 1, the original Jurassic Park.
I think
you can't. I mean that started the whole thing, and it was it's
a
classic for a reason.
Like
there's a reason why we got all these movies is because of that movie.
And so many like things. Like, it's like welcome to Jurassic Park, and the score and everything on it.
It was a masterpiece.
It was
That's
awesome.
why we got a sequel. All right, so that's IGN's list 1 through 6. Let's give our list pretty much. I think I agree. Number 1 should be what?
Let's start so number 1 is Jurassic Park because the first one, because I think that was just the solid one, the one that started off, the one that like it's just like brought all these movies. So there's no explanation for that one. There's no explanation.
You don't need to explain it. So I think let's get into number 2. Our number 2. I'm gonna say Jurassic World.
Yes.
Because it kind of gave the same feel as Jurassic Park, the first one, but it expanded and it gave us the actual park that in part 1 in Jurassic Park he kind of was telling everybody like, listen, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have kiddie rides, I'm gonna have little dinos that the kids could ride. He was telling us all that he was gonna add to the park, and then this movie you actually see it like, damn, this was actually a park that was making money. And how it can continue on,
and also just like kind of opened up more of like the world a little bit too, on like I think it introduced new dinosaurs like the underwater one, I forgot the name,
the mosasaur.
And like just all that stuff, and how like dude, like this dinosaur can eat a freaking great white just like that. And then just like
and it showed how like they showed how like the dinosaurs can be like kind of like tamed in a way.
That
kind of like you can't tame nature, like kind of like SeaWorld, like the way that they had the mosasaur like eat the shark, eat the great white, and it's like a SeaWorld kind of scene where like people are watching it. So
but I think
number 2 would go there.
Solid two.
Now I think number 3 on our list is we're gonna be a little divided. What would you put 3 at? What movie at 3?
Lost World.
So me, I'd put Jurassic 3.
Bro.
So like I'm gonna tell you why. Ready? Because Lost World had the worst plot out of any Jurassic Park.
What's the
movie.
worst, bro? Isn't that the one that like they like the raptor eggs and like all that stuff?
No, that's part 3.
Oh, wait, what was part? Well, then what was part 2?
So Lost World, they were pretty much trying to get the dinosaurs off the island so that they can sell it. They could sell them in land.
No, I'm talking about Lost World. The old one, part 2.
That's literally the same plot.
No, it's not, bro.
Yeah.
No, bro, you're crazy.
Go rewatch it. We got the poachers who are trying to capture the dinosaurs and bring them to land. That's why they had the baby T-Rex.
Bro,
and they had the mother T-Rex.
Bro,
so that's like why I'm gonna put at our number 3. I'm gonna put Jurassic Park 3 because it had a story that you can actually follow. Where the Kirbys, they had their son that went missing. They had to hire a team of people, and they had to go rescue their son. simple plot, and then introduce dinosaurs. That's all you need. And then plus we had the Spinosaur scene where he destroyed the plane. So
all I'm saying, I think Lost World is going.
I think it should go number 3 should be Jurassic Park 3, and number 4 should be Lost World.
I think Lost World, right? It should go number 3.
But now what's gonna throw it off is that I think 5 and 6 where we agree with IGN. They put 5 at Fallen Kingdom and then 6 at Dominion at 6.
So I think it's just like 3 and 4 where it's like I think Jurassic Park 3 should be at 4 and then Lost World should just be at 3, just like that.
We're gonna have to disagree on that one. All right, so let's get into Rebirth, the new Jurassic Park, which pretty much introduces new characters. I think none of these characters weren't introduced in the other ones.
Yes.
And introduce new dinosaurs. Pretty much, they're not dinosaurs anymore. They're more mutated creatures.
It's
similar to like an alien. They look. I mean, I didn't like it personally because
it's happened already like 3 times.
We're getting away from dinosaurs. Like this is just mutated creatures, and they look more like aliens. So it's like they're not the original dinosaurs, and dinosaurs alone could have held this film up. But it's weird because in the movie they say like the audience always wants bigger and crazier creatures, and that in the theme park they even tell them like the audience are getting tired of regular dinosaurs. We need to introduce newer, bigger ones. And it's like, damn, like that's true because nobody wants to go see a T-Rex anymore. They want to see the freaking D-Rex.
D-Rex. Yeah, like the story, like they were explaining it, like, hey, like technically it's a remake, but also a sequel again.
Well, because it's past, it's after Dominion because all the dinosaurs migrated to the center of the equator, which is warmer and more. They're accustomed to that
dinosaurs
climate.
are still in like the world, like you see like a dinosaur in traffic and all that, but basically it's kind of like set in like a different, like new characters, all that set in like another place, and then just the storyline is just like kind of the same thing.
It was a cool storyline, like getting the DNA from the 4 creatures.
It's the same thing as part 3, kind of, right?
Jurassic Park 3?
Yeah.
No.
In a sense.
No, because Jurassic Park 3 was a rescue mission.
Yeah, but like it's the same thing.
They're trying to get DNA so that way they can cure heart disease.
Technically.
That's what the whole plot was. Yeah, that they had to get the DNA.
But remember they were like, oh, like it's either we do that or we do something else. Or it's like, oh, we give it to the people or we give it to the company. Because like this guy.
Well, no, because what he was saying. So when they in the movie they're trying to collect the DNA from the 3 biggest dinosaurs of sea, land, and sky.
Yeah.
So pretty much the plot of the movie is that this pharmaceutical company, they hired all these mercenaries to gather this DNA so that way they can create a cure for heart disease. And in the movie, the scientist that they hire, he pretty much says like, hey, instead of giving it to the pharmaceutical company who are going to charge people to have this medicine, why don't we just give it to another pharmaceutical company that will give it away for free? They'll still create the cure of heart disease, but instead of having people pay for it, they're going to give it away for free. Yeah. So that was kind of the plot throughout the movie. And then, we got a subplot with the father and his daughters and the boyfriend, which was a subplot. We didn't need it, but it was there and it was cool to have.
We didn't need it. They just added it just to build more suspense because there's a little girl. Yeah. And then you got the hurt dad, and you got like the boyfriend being dumb, and then you got the teenage girl just trying to like.
I think the movie could have been good with just the normal plot that we started with, which was getting the cure or getting the DNA from the dinosaurs.
Like I said, it's just trying to build suspense.
Yeah.
But and then like this island that they kind of go to, it was like a research lab.
Right. So there's
merging dinosaur DNA and basically making like mutant hybrids of like the dinosaurs that we know and love. Like, not trying to spoil it too much, but it's like, yo, you got like a pterodactyl fused with like a velociraptor, and that thing looked crazy. Yeah. And then you got the D-Rex. And then you got the D-Rex merged with like I don't know how many, like all the dinosaurs. It
had everything, like because I think it had 6 arms, well 4 legs and 2 arms.
Yeah. So two arms mean like there's arms right there and then arms right here. So it's like
he had 4 legs
and then
like
2.
Yeah.
So it's like it's
he
6.
had T-Rex arms and then 4 legs that he walked on.
Yeah, and then like it was like a whole bunch of other, like he had like a
dome head, like kind of resembled like the alien.
Yeah, it was just weird. And then we saw very faintly that there was like a two-headed pterodactyl merged dragon in
Yeah.
like the test tube
In
and
the
stuff.
test tube, yeah.
But basically, yeah, so like they just figured that out, and then you know, just the plot keeps going. You know, they're trying to find all these dragons. There's like cool scenes like with like, you know, the pterodactyl that they're trying to get the sample from, and like all the other, and like the sea one too. That one's crazy.
Mosasaurus.
And then, but then when we go to like kind of like the big like, you know, thing with the D-Rex and stuff, it's kind of like
We pretty much see him at the end.
Yeah, we
like
see him at the
The
end.
last.
And we figure out that the dude that is working for the pharmaceutical company, he kind of like double crosses them and kind of is like,
Right.
hey, like, yo, like points a gun at them. It's like, oh no, like give me it, blah blah. I'll keep this safe. And then
I mean, we spoiling it, but
yeah,
let's give our review. I
yeah,
mean,
like yeah. So
our
like,
review.
the long story short,
I think let's give our review number, and then we'll see where it ranks in the top 6. So we'll be a top 7 once we put it in there. So I think personally, I'm gonna give Jurassic World Rebirth a 7 out of 10.
I was gonna say that too.
A 7 out of 10. It was a
7.
good movie. It was a good watch. It doesn't have the best plot, the best characters. There was a lot of dialogue that kind of dragged in the beginning.
Yeah,
Like the action didn't pick up until like chapter 2 when they got on the island, and it's like it took too long for them to get to the island. So I'm gonna say it was a 7 out of 10. Now I'm guessing you're gonna say the same.
Same thing, 7 out of 10.
So-
I thought like they said, they were just trying to go back to basics with it and kind of just make it like kind of like, you know, like a movie that maybe you would see in the Jurassic Park franchise, where it's like, oh, it's a simple thing, just they're trying to go to this island to grab DNA and then come back, but then a whole bunch of like, you know, things happen, and then it's like, oh shoot, that happens.
So now, with that being said, what would you put it on the top 7
It's better
list?
than Dominion and
Fallen Kingdom. I think it'll be perfect at number 4.
I was thinking the same thing.
So it'd be 4 Rebirth, 5 Fallen Kingdom. 4 Rebirth. No, hold on. Actually, no, I'm wrong here. So actually, technically, it'd be number 5 on the list. So it'd be 5 Rebirth, 6 Fallen Kingdom, and then 7 Dominion. So let's start from the top. Jurassic Park, the first one.
yes.
The
Jurassic
second one's
World.
gonna be Jurassic World. Number 3 is gonna be
Lost World.
Lost World, since you want to use that. We'll go with that. Number 4 is gonna be Jurassic Park 3.
And then
Number 5 is gonna be Rebirth.
and
new
then the
one.
rest is Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that would be a good spot, because it's like, you know,
Because it was better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, like action. I mean, not action wise, but like plot wise, it had a decent
Yeah.
story. So yeah,
I thought it was cool. Yeah.
it was good. I thought it was cool too. You know. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching our ranked review. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to get notified on every video that we do. Where are we? And we're out. Peace.